Aloha. It's approximately 2 minutes before 5:15 this morning, December 4th, 2016. I'm saluting you early because I'm starting my journey up to San Francisco in a few minutes, about an hour and a half. And I need to do this now because I'd be on a plane otherwise. Okay, let's get our coffee. Yes, I'm doing instant. Good old Folgers instant. I ran out of regular coffee. It's called humility. Interesting topic. Being nimble. Let's go ahead and dunk down so we can actually chat from a grounded place. Go ahead and salute yourself, your space that you're currently in, your emotional state, your physical state, your mental state. Just entertain the thought that everything's okay, regardless of whatever has happened prior to this moment and whatever will happen after this moment. Yeah, go ahead and get yourself a little traction up and down. It's not an attention way, it's acknowledging both directions. And then this way. Yes, I have my robe on. Oh, look, the heat came on. It can get chilly in the desert. Not like Connecticut, you know. And go ahead and acknowledge your breath. And I will open with this poem. This is St. Catherine of Siena, an Italian mystic. I won't take no for an answer. I won't take no for an answer, God began to say to me when he opened his arms each night, wanting us to dance. I won't take no for an answer. I won't take no for an answer, God began to say to me when he opened his arms each night, wanting us to dance with each other. It's beautiful, isn't it? How was I connected to my Folgers coffee? Well, if you're caught up, you, capital Y-O-U, us, the you, not the EU, the you. If you're caught up in your own agenda or your preferences, I only drink real coffee. And you throw a fit and, and resent the fact that, you don't have coffee. You have to drink pussy tea or something. Not that there's anything wrong with tea, but for coffee drinkers, in the morning, you miss out on dancing with God, right? It's like, it's serious, down to, me, princess of the mundane, literally down to, I'm freaking out that I don't have real coffee. You're checked out. God can't come in. You can't be free. You're stuck. You're either berating yourself for forgetting to go buy coffee the day before, or whatever, whoever the person is, whether it's you or somebody else, the situation or time or whatever you're blaming, and you're missing out on the dance, versus, oh, okay, there's no real coffee, so I'm going to pull out the Folgers. Thank God I had the Folgers. That's what I thought this morning. Well, actually, I put it out last night. That's actually more honest. But you know what? I didn't make time. I went out. I went to lunch yesterday. I had my old lady lunch. I forgot to get coffee. And thank God I have Folgers. The instant coffee I purchased on one of my trips to San Francisco when I'm staying in my groovy little motels. Period. End of story. And there's a little dance in my heart, you know. It was like, well, isn't that great? I still get my coffee. I'll get a real cup of coffee when I get to the airport. But right now, I'm not thinking about myself. I'm grateful I have my coffee and I can dance with God. Ergo, what's it? Magnanimous. Is that the right word? Right? It's like how to be magnanimous or generosity or generous of spirit. If you, capital Y-O-U, cling to a certain thing. I only do this. I don't use that. I only drink Starbucks, whatever Starbucks is, whether it's Maybelline or $100 mascara. I'm saying that because I got this groovy new Maybelline mascara yesterday. I'm very excited about it. It seems a little intense thing though. I only use Maybelline. I will never succumb to whatever the other thing is. It's a curse. And every time you say never, it's a curse. So there we are. Oh my God! Oh, there they are. My glasses. Not that I don't have 10 pairs over there. Oh, good. We have time. I'm rambling rather quickly. Let me read another one to you. That's quite lovely. It's the one before it. It's connected. I wasn't sure if I was going to read this one, but I'm going to read it. It's Catherine of Siena, Italian mystic, 1500s-ish. Nope, 1300s, pardon me. Vulnerable. Vulnerable we are, like an infant. We need each other's care or we will suffer. Vulnerable we are, like an infant. We need each other's comfort, care, or we will suffer. Vulnerable we are, like an infant. We need each other's care or we will suffer. Again, we all. What would it mean, bumping it up a notch, and being generous of spirit to those, not just situations that are uncomfortable, but to the people that make us uncomfortable, even if we know them or not? To be willing to be generous of spirit, to see, you all are practicing seeing the asshole nature of yourself in another, but here I'm going to bump it up a notch. Are you willing to see the heart and warmth of a person or situation that you proclaim to be dark, evil, or other than savory? That's the next invitation. Are you willing to entertain the Folger's cup of coffee as being warming, exquisite, and just perfect for you? Not delusional. Hey, if someone brought a Starbucks right now, that would be lovely. But to be able to have the Starbucks or have the Folgers and still be okay and not lose your shit, this is the invitation. There's a couple invitations in there. Are you willing to see that there's still coffee? This is still made from coffee bean, even though it may be frozen, dried, and put into a particular form. I can still honor that this came from a coffee bean. Coming in again, the willingness, the generosity of spirit, the magnanimous nature. We'd be willing to tap into that, unclench your fucking asshole and your hand, and go back to Abe. I don't know that man, that woman. Let me get to know him. Better yet, how am I like him, like in the darkness? That's wonderful. That's very important. But am I willing to see his or her heart and spirit and warmth? Just a touch, if you can. Just because this is for you. This is not to become superhero. You become a hero by doing it, but that's not the intention. It's to free you. All I care about is teaching people how to free themselves up, because that which you cling to keeps you in hell. your predilections, your habits, your notions, your preferences, your aversions, right? So remember, it's my only interest. It's not about anything of this world per se. It's of the inner world. What frees me? Here's a good mantra for the week. There's different ways to say it. I say it differently to different people. Does this free me or bondage me? Does this complicate or simplify? Does it bring me closer to God or away from God? And only you know. No one can tell you that. Only you know, because everyone's trip is different. Don't let anyone tell you that, what that is. It's very personal, and you can only access it if you're being honest. We still have a few minutes. Oh, good luck. It's like I feel like time's been turned down. It's so exciting. My robe. The robe. Let's reflect on that. That was a lot. There was a lot to say. So there's a lot to hear, I suspect. Let's have some more coffee, Folger. May you have a most glorious week practicing generosity of spirit, even practicing lack of generosity. You know, there's no linear trip here, man. Like, notice where you don't want to be generous. Not a problem. Go that route. Notice where you clench with your, and go into that and find out, hey, how does that feel? Is there freedom in that? Does that feel like freedom? There may be a trip for some of you where you have to explore your clenching and your retreating and aversion trip, preference trip, in a different way to find out if it's really freedom. In other words, be curious about the things that you think bring you to freedom. Most of our identity attachments, they're so programmed and so delusional that it feels like one thing, but then you have to start finding out what it's promising, but what's the reality. And if you didn't hear that, that's cool. Hear it how you heard it. Just explore this idea of generosity of spirit. Notice where you can do it, notice where you can't do it. That's a better place to go, right? Where do you freak out that you only have Folgers and you want Starbucks? And where you're grateful that you have Folgers and it's okay that Starbucks isn't there because you'll get it in a couple hours. All right. So much love to you. So much aloha. Another day in paradise. Here we go.